Hey guys, and welcome back to my channel. Today we are doing another how to be a pro kind of video, and this is how to wing your liner like a pro. This is specifically on winged liner. This is just going to be how to kind of wing your liner, the kind of easiest method how to do it, tips and tricks on how to get the most stability, how to create the most definition, and yeah, just little bits and bobs that helps. And I'm going to tell you guys a couple of things that you can do now before I begin, because to be honest I didn't talk a lot through the video because doing my liner and talking at the same time is really hard. I also messed up, so I show you guys how to fix when you mess up. So yeah, we're all human. I messed up, we all mess up, and we all have them days. I feel like I'm having a bad makeup day. Do you ever have them days where you just feel like nothing kind of sits right? Yeah, I'm having that day. So yeah, it was a good day I guess to film the, you know, how to do your liner, because it's the worst thing to mess up on, but I showed you guys how to fix it. So yeah, I'm going to tell you guys a couple of things first. General thing that you want to do is lift your eyes upwards. That's what winged liner intends to do. It's kind of that feline effect, and when you look at a feline or a cat's eyes, like an actual cat, the animal, their eye kind of turns upwards, and that's what winged liner does for our eye shape. Okay, so before we begin as well, let's talk liners. So it really does depend what liner you're using. You can use any eyeliner to create this look, but depending on which liner you use, it's going to create a different effect every single time. I used a liquid today, and in my opinion a liquid is going to give you the most definition, the most bold line, the most kind of effect, because it's a liquid and it dries to this, and it doesn't do anything else but this. The liquid that I'm going to be using is the Super Liner Perfect Slim from L'Oreal. I highly recommend liquid liners like this because it almost feels like a pen. The nib is extremely thin, so it's really good for beginners because you can start off thin and gradually thicken it. Pen liners are incredible because it almost feels like you are holding a pen. I believe that when manufacturers create these, they create these for beginners because everyone knows how to hold a pen. Liquids are the most kind of defined way of doing your eyeliner in my opinion, because it just kind of gives you that instant definition. You don't really have to do as much as the other types of liner. Of course, different types of liquids that you can get. You can get this one. This is a lime crime one, an old one that I bought a while ago, and this is more like a brush. So it's almost like a brush inside a liquid, and I found this one quite hard to use. So there's that type of liquid, and then there's also this one here, which is from the Balm, which you guys have seen me use multiple times, and this is almost like a little bit more of a nib, and this is, I like these as well, but the easiest one to use in my opinion are the pens. The other different types of liners are gels. Gels are also a really good option because this will give you great definition as well. But the thing about these gel is that it's going to give you a different effect every single time depending on which brush you're using. So what's great about these is that you can buff these out to create more of a smudged effect. So these are a little bit more versatile, but for this style of eyeliner I would say that these are more difficult to use. These are harder to clean up because the majority of the time they are waterproof, so they can be quite hard to clean up. When I made my mistake today, you guys are going to see what I'm talking about. It would have been a lot harder to clean that up if I was using a gel. So these are more recommended if you're used to creating a line. Go ahead and try them because you might find these easier. This is just my opinion. I personally have found it harder to use these, but you might find it a lot easier. So it just what works for me and what I've noticed works for the people that I've taught in the past doesn't necessarily mean that it's going to work for you. So try out all forms of liner. Also, of course, we have pencil. Pencil is not the recommended form of applying a winged liner, but you do it if that's what you want. Obviously, a pencil is not going to create as much of a defined line as a liquid. This is going to create more of a smoky and smouldering coal effect rather than a defined wing of liner. So a pencil is quite easy to use in the sense that, you know, it feels like a pencil, but you could replace this for the pen liner that I was telling you about earlier, and it has a very similar feel to it. So definitely try, you know, different forms of them, but this is not going to create this kind of definition. And of course, lastly, you can use a black shadow with, again, a different brush, but that is not going to be as harsh. So if you want this kind of effect, but you don't want it to be as in your face, using a black eyeshadow is a great option for a more natural but still defined effect. So my recommended one to you is the pen liners, just because if you are a beginner and you can never get the liner right, I think that you'll be able to get it with the pen liners. That L'Oreal one isn't very expensive, it's really easy to use, it dries matte, and I think it's really easy to clean up as well. It's not waterproof, but you can always go on top of it with a waterproof eyeliner to make sure that it stays on. But I have personally never had a problem with it. I don't really care about waterproof liners. I would just rather get, you know, that line to be perfect first. But I'm going to show you guys the tutorial of how I do my winged liner. There's not a lot of chatting through it as much as the other one because there's not as much to talk through with it, but I just like to tell you guys where I like to start, how I balance my hand, you know, where I start to draw my line from. I just kind of go into it. So if you do want to know how to get this wing, then please just keep on watching. So like I spoke about before, you want to pick the liner you're most comfortable with, and the liner that I am the most comfortable with and that I'd highly recommend to you guys is the L'Oreal Super Liner Perfect Slim. It's very nice and the nib is perfect like I explained before. So I'm just going to jump straight in the tutorial. I want to show you guys how to do it freehand. So I'm not going to be using a piece of tape. So if you guys want to use a piece of tape and just line it up with your bottom lash line, you can completely go ahead and do that. It's a very good way for beginners. I think the best way is to start in the middle of the lid because it's kind of like the largest area. I'm going to start off doing the middle of the lid, and then I'm going to go on to the inner corner of my eye, and then I'm going to join that up to the outer corner of my eye and just almost line my lid first before I do anything. I wouldn't recommend just kind of just going in and lining your lid straight away. What I'd recommend for you to start doing, which is a really good tip for any style of makeup if you want to get precision and just be able to balance, this will just kind of steady yourself and just allow you to be able to create a really nice straight line. Holding my liner like this, using my first two fingers and my thumb, and just using it to kind of like that, like you would hold a pen. I don't actually hold a pen like this, but if you hold a pen like that, you just want to kind of hold it, and you can use that finger as well, but I want to keep my pinky free. So make sure that your pinky is free to do the balancing for you. And then what I'm going to do is I'm going to place my pinky on my cheek, and then I'm going to begin. What that will do is just give you complete balance. You won't feel like your hand is shaking. If I don't have my pinky there, you know, my hand will kind of shake if something jogs you. You're going to have a lot more control than if you didn't. So I'm just doing that to make sure that there's going to be no jolting and that I have just complete control over this eyeliner. I want this eyeliner to almost become part of my hand and just be able to move it along really, really easily. And just a really good way is just getting used to placing your pinky on your cheek and then beginning. So I'm just going to start on the middle of my lid, and you want to start as thin as possible. So I'm literally just creating a very thin line. I kind of can't talk while I'm doing this, so I'll just be silent for the moment. So this little tiny line we've just done, I'm going to draw in from my inner corner and just connect it. Okay, so far we've just got a really thin line coming from my inner corner, and then it's going to the middle, and now I'm just going to do the same thing on the outer corner. And you don't have to worry too much about the shape for the moment because we are going to thicken this. Okay, so at the moment what we're seeing is just a really thin line lining the rim of our lash line, and that is exactly what we want. And what we're going to do now is gradually thicken it until we're happy with the thickness. So for me, I like to go for quite a thick wing because it just flatters my eye shape a lot better than a thin line would. But also the smaller lid space you have, so where you look forward, the less lid space you have, the thinner your wing should be. Because I've got quite a lot of lid space, I can do it quite thick and it doesn't make my eyes look really, you know, small or anything like that. So, you know, I like it small as well, but I like to go for a thicker wing. So if you've got a smaller lid space, I'd be a little bit, you know, wary with how thick you're making it. So you just got to kind of analyze your eye and just think, okay, I need to stop now, but doing it slowly is going to mean you're not going to go too thick too quickly. Okay, so now that I'm kind of happy with how thick the line is, we're going to start creating the wing. And this is where a lot of people struggle, and this is where it starts to get a little bit more difficult. So this is where the real concentration comes in. So what we want to imagine is almost as if our bottom lash line is continuing upwards. So we want to kind of line our wing and the start of our wing with our bottom lash line. And I like to just continue that direction. So as you can see on this side, it's almost as if my bottom lash line is continuing upwards, so it just kind of fits my eye shape. You can go for any angle. Some people like to go for a really high one, some people like to go for quite a straight one. It does depend on what kind of style of makeup you're going for. And what I like to do is just start on the very outer corner of my eye, so literally where my outer corner stops. So like I said, we're just going to follow that crease and just start to pull it up. Like I said, how far you want to pull it up is completely up to you. And don't worry too much, because we can fix how kind of straight it is after with a bit of concealer, so don't worry too much about it. And then once I'm at this point, what I will do is look forward, and this really helps because as you can see, we have our crease here, and a lot of the time people will look down, do it, look up, and then a lot of the liner ends up getting hidden in the crease. So looking straight just prevents you from, you know, being tricked into thinking that your crease is a lot less deep set than what it is. So for me, I just like to look straight, and then what I like to do is just connect from here to the end of our wing. So I just almost like to pull it across. So from this point, which is almost like the outer third of my eye, and I'm just going to pull it to the outer corner of the wing. And then I'm just filling it in. Okay, so I've realised I've gone too thick on this side, so what I'm going to do is I'm going to take my concealer, and it's good that this has happened because this is very common to do stuff like this, but to go too thick. I'm going to show you guys how to fix it. So I'm just going to take a bit of concealer, and I'm just going to literally drag it upwards. Okay, so I'm just going to kind of fill in this part here, and looking straight again, I just want to make sure that this is a really nice fluid line. As you can see at the moment, it kind of jags downwards. I want to make sure that this connects to that really fluidly. So I'm just going to... Okay guys, as you can see, I have the rest of my makeup on. I hope you guys found this video helpful. To create that perfect eyeliner look, you need to practice, and at the end of the day, it's just makeup. Makeup wipes off, you know, you can just keep practicing, like literally do a wing and take it off. Do a wing and take it off. Is that easy to take it off. Do it before you go to bed. So I hope you enjoyed this video. Please like this video if you enjoyed. It really does help me out a lot, so please do click the little like button down below, and also subscribe to my channel if you haven't already. I put new videos up 3 times a week, so you will see my face 3 times a week. Comment down below any more in-depth tutorials like this that you would like to see. I've done the how to blend like a pro, and this is how to wing your liner like a pro. If you guys have any other suggestions of videos you would like me to do on how to be a pro at things, then comment down below. And I can't wait to see you guys in my next video, so I will talk to you later. Bye guys. Mwah.